We welcome you to a great afternoon here for racing here. Say hello. Texas Motor Speedway here for the iSNF Cup Series Season 11, 15. As we head into the chase for the iSNF Cup Series. Going to be interesting to hear from Texas. Well, my name is Christian Delgado, your lead producer and commentator for tonight's race here from Fort Worth, Texas, here to start, I believe, your second week of the chase here, here for the iSNF Cup Series. So it'll be interesting to see who to look for coming into tonight's race. Obviously, look at the points a little bit later, but on trackside to look at some of your fastest drivers on track right now and to see who, maybe some favorites to win tonight here from Texas. Dustin L. Johnson, number 22 Discount Tire Machine. Obviously, it's kind of synonymous with the Ryan Blaney camp, but obviously we see him tonight here, the black and white tire machine. Dustin on a decent roll here. I think he's getting here third or fourth in points. We'll have to look here later on when we take a look at our points here coming into Texas, but Dustin Johnson up there right now, currently top 5 in practice. And someone to talk about, number 2, Dylan Basin, making his 11th start here in the iSNF Cup Series. And you look at that, 6 wins, this will be his 11th start, over a 50% win percentage here for this driver out of Lakeland, Florida. So Dylan Basin already goes at the top of the boards here for favorites to win, filling in for Mark Gonzalez and that number 2 board. So I feel like he's already a race favorite here to come out here and win at Texas. Obviously, Dylan successfully got himself into the Coke Series free agency, so congratulations to Dylan on that. Really hard to get into for that elitist, Coke Series tier. Wow, now 8 years of trying, 8 years of frustration. Dylan finally gets it done there. I believe top 10 in qualifying points. So obviously the get sign, right? Obviously being top 10 in qualifying point. Something not really that a lot of people could do here on the sim. So a lot of drivers that he beat that were past Coke drivers. So he could do here to Texas. But Nicholas Johnson, top of the board here in practice, and that number 3. No, Nicholas has been really quick. Every time he comes in the mile and a half, and at the short track, he's quick. I would say he's a contender for the points, but he just made too many mistakes. Honestly, I think he's made a couple enemies along the way with just the natural driving style this 20 machine has. Gotten caught up in a couple of wrecks, which have taken him really out of any contention of racing for a championship. But it'll be interesting to see what he can do here at Texas as well. He's showing a lot of speed here in practice. Obviously, talking about him, leading the field here in practice. Over 5 minutes left. These drivers they'll figure out these cars. Just 5 minutes. Just over 5 minutes left in practice. We'll go ahead and take a look at your point standings going into Texas. Look here. Thomas Flint still top of the board, but look at the gap that Chris Otto has cut down. It's going to be 7 points between those two drivers, those two Hendrick Motorsports teammates. And really strong, and then further back there in third, Cody Meadows with that win last week from Talladega. Helps close his way back in there, but you see about 34 points out behind. He's going to have a strong run here at Texas, continuing to put good finishes together. Once again, another Team Penske teammate, 3 points behind Cody. Dustin L. Johnson comes in here 4th, and then Mark Gonzalez 5th. Not showing up tonight. He's about 59 points out. 49 points out, I believe. So obviously Mark not being able to make it kind of eliminates him. Will Austin back there in 6th. Charles Roberson 7th. Nicholas Johnson, you see 8th, almost Actually, it looks like 106 points out. And all these guys further back: Craig Larson, Jason Steptoe, Joey Mange, Jeff Weimer, Gabe Ledger, Steven Sear, Parker Strainer, Jeff Harris, really out of contention. Yeah, 100 out from making way, and obviously Rhea not being able to make it with her no new job. So we congratulate Rhea on that, but obviously, due to that, she cannot run all the races here in the chase. But good for her to at least make it in and show that she has the pace to, get into the chase. Obviously, the playoffs were a little bit easier, I feel like, for some other drivers to get into the postseason. But Rhea, driving her way into the P spot right towards the end of the regular season, giving herself an opportunity to at least race in the chase. Obviously, we've documented her inability to be able to show up. So that's just where the cookie crumbles sometimes. Further up, we see most of your playoff guys here up inside the top 10. For Walker, your first car, not a playoff car, after P10 in practice. They're not Ford machine, Alyssa Sharp. Charles Roberson back up there in 11th. I believe Charles, not race. Yeah, no, Charles is racing for a championship. He's just been really quiet back there, 7 points. Hasn't had the flashy speed we're used to seeing there out of the 11 machine. Now currently P11. Tom Blazer out on track right now. He's currently P8 at RFK. Practice. Trying to take down just over a minute and a half left in practice. And Johnson might be the top of the boards here. Practice. Dylan Bass is still out on track. Oh, a huge hit that outside wall. Well, only 400. Off of Nicholas's time, so the practice could be pretty tight. Top time for all the drivers here. 29.6, 29.66, 29.67, 9.72, top 4. Weston back here. Driver in between. Just under 30 seconds left in practice. I've supposed to get lap time, and if it would have to come this lap, it'd be having to come really down the back straightaway about right now, going into 4. Meadows and practice back there in P9. Probably needs a little bit more pace here in their race. Try to chase down at 29, who takes 6th and 7th in practice. See, you get ready to get your qualifying underway. 2 laps, 5 minutes for these drivers to the lap time. That'd be 2 clean laps. Cannot get up in an outside wall. Cannot grass here. Dry oval. Where people qualify. Qualifying is going to mean a lot here at Texas. Not the most difficult mile to have to pass at, but but it's also not the easiest to pass at as well. So 20 minutes on track. Cody to start his first time lap here for Texas. Want to get that thrown on that bottom line. Try to wrap the white line. Cody a little bit high there in the 1 and 2. Boy, this is where you get a lot of lap time out of this car, 3 and 4. I've seen drivers go flat out here, 3 and 4 before. Fully ticker will actually show us our fastest lap time right now, but we'll do it by ear right now. Cody Meadows currently top of the board, 29.94. There you go. Waiting on there. I think SDK just needs a couple of drivers to set a lap time to things going here. Martin Roberg top of the board right now. Thomas Lynn out on track. Chasing that first win. One machine. Then P2. Ford machine. Good lap for him. Dylan Basin out on track. And across the stripe. Top of the board for Dylan Basin and number 2. 9.7, good lap for Dylan. Roberson. It was around here where the ticker always breaks. I don't know why the side. There it goes. Now it circles back around. Right now, Basin, Roberg, Flynn, Ottenschlager, Will Austin, top 5. Justin L. Johnson slots himself in P6 right now, 29.9. Charles can do here. Charles. 7. Pretty decent lap out of the 11 machine. Artaj goes to P2 on the board here. Right behind Dylan. Artaj, a very talented driver in his own right. Someone also to look out here, also filling in for that 38 machine. They've been working with those. Front row guys to get those cars up to back there. Rodney Robertson is 7 up to P13. 30.01, decent lap for the 7. Quite a few guys that haven't even come out on track yet. 25th on back. Looks like will not set a lap time. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 drivers. Like they're not going to set a lap time. Dylan Bason's sitting out here in turn 1 and 2. After putting that car in the pool, destroyed it going into 1 and 2. That he didn't really set that second lap. For Texas, I feel like Texas is one of those tracks that it is a first lap qualifying. Yeah, you'll see this number 2 sitting on the pole here for week 11 here from Texas Motor Speedway. Good lap for the number 2 machine, 29.72. Sartaj Mon, 29.73. So just 1/100th off. Number 2, Sartaj almost gets it done here, Texas, but get ready to start a lineup here by high velocity. On all of our drivers to get on track. Get ready to go here for 134 laps here. Texas Motor Speedway. Here we go. Let's get your starting lineup here, presented by High Velocity TV. Back up here. Let me know who's starting where. Go ahead and do it. Dylan Basin and the number 2 machine will be your pole sitter. Alongside Sartaj Mon, just 1800s off pole there. For that number 38 machine. Martin Roberg in the 43, really good lap for him in that 43 car. Just barely missing out on the chase here. He'll be P3. Your points leader coming into the 9th race, Thomas Flynn, starts P4. Craig Launchslaughter P5, and running out that row 3, Will Austin. That number RCR 3. Charles Roberson P7, Justin L. Johnson P8, and rounding out the top 10, Cody Meadows, Nicholas Johnson, Joey Maines, and Chris Bishop, 11th and 12th. Get back there in 13th, Rodney Roberts, Jeff Weimer back there in P14, Don Blazier, Wyatt Roberts rounding out your top 16. Arnold Hall, Chris Otto rounding out row 9, and top 20 consists of Christopher Walker and Steve Peter. I'm really interested to see if Chris can get way up through the field here to close that gap there on the 24, but you'll see back there in 21st, John Hopley, Scott Trusty, Dean Thorne, Mike Iskandar in the top 24. The rest of the field here, not set a qualifying lap. Timothy Cook in the 19, Jason Steptoe, Terrence Preston, Chuck Cobb, Shane Johnson, David Anderson, Kevin Page, and Ryan Chordwell, Bob Wyckoff, rounding out your 33 car field for tonight's race. Gonna look at your race with info for tonight's race. 134 laps here from the Texas Motor Speedway. We'll be going 134 laps for just over 200 miles here. And we'll get the stage breaks on lap 35 and lap 70, 60% fuel, 4 extra sets of tires, not including the ones they have on, I believe. Realistic weather here for Texas Motor Speedway. No fast repairs, and as it is a mile-and-a-half track. 21 incident limit here. So if they get to that, I believe it's they get the 17 next, they get a like a drive-through. If it's just straight to 21, it's a DQ. But regardless, 21. If they get the 21 incidents tonight, disqualified. So it's gonna be interesting to see what these drivers can do tonight. Drivers coming off pit road here. Take a look at your race weather for tonight's race here from Texas Motor Speedway. You see 72-degree air temp with a 96-degree track temp. So track's a little slick, a little hot here to start the race. We'll see if it cools down or even heats up a little bit more as we put down the rubber tonight here from Texas. But back here to your race leaders, Dylan Basin, Sartaj Mon, 2 Fords to be that front row. Be a Toyota and a Chevy rounding out that fast four, but you do lights off on the pace car. We're going 134 laps here from Texas. And this race back over to Dylan Basin. We get ready to go back to the restart zone. We'll hand the race back over the bar near the flagman. We'll get ready to get the green flag to start off your week 14 here in Texas. On turn 4, Dylan Basin keeps your race lead here to start lap 2. A little bit of pressure from Sartaj Mon back there, trying to keep up here with this number 2 Penske machine. lifting here early. Texas, we talked about in practice, but put it back, side by side action. Will Austin looking underneath the 24, Thomas Flynn. 4 spot. And trying to make that move once again here down the backstretch. Might get clear. Here comes the 22. Caution. Like Don Blazier might have had a moment here. Contact with the 21. Wyatt Roberts gets up, makes contact with the door, turns it out here on the apron. A little harmless self spin, but now we'll stack it right back up. Caution will wave here early. Texas. Say hello to everybody watching at home. Say hello to Leif Opstead. Obviously, pretty concurrent video on the channel. Appreciate everybody for coming out early and watching tonight's broadcast here from Texas. Also, some Cody Meadows fans up in the chat. Love to see, everybody coming on and putting on their favorite drivers early here in the race. Back at Cody Meadows, currently P10. Good run by Cody. Yeah, Michael, iSNF Cup Series, it's been like this since the dawn of the Cup Series here. We at first wanted to kind of have like, this kind of started based off of like the console games, right? Where you would have to be forced to really drive a actual car, and then she wanted to bring this over to the Sims. So yeah, everybody, for the most part, actually everybody, not for the most part, everybody, yes, in a IRL scheme here for iSNF Cup Series. I believe there's usually 1 week where there is an open paint night, as long as it has the right number on it. Run whatever paint you want, but outside of that one race, where they try to keep it realistic as they can and run the IRL scheme and the IRL team. Everything else, we go to like Dylan Basin and Sartaj Mon. It'll have all the branding on here for driver series. You see Dylan filling in, Mark Gonzalez here for the Penske crew. So, caution. There we see everybody back 2 by 2, which means we're getting ready to go back racing here from Texas. On the back stretch here, final time before we get ready to go back green here to start lap 7. Pace car once again will hook a hard left turn down Perry Road. Same front row, same front forward, really. Basic. Martin, Wilbert, Thomas, Flynn, your front 4. This car takes a hard left turn back Perry Road one more time. Dylan Basin back to, not quite back to green, warming up the tires, now back to green here for Texas. Good launch by the number 2. Dylan Basin gets away almost half a second already advantage. Back to the 34 in line. Side by side racing further on back here. Outside the top 3. Martin Roberts starting to fall back. Will Lawson up 2 spots here inside the top 4. Trying to run down that number 24 machine. Both cars on track there. Stopped on the apron. I think we'll keep her green. Downshift here in the 1 and 2. And rev this car back out, and you'll probably hear it upshift up in the 5th. Yeah, up the 5th. Cars are so on edge there in 3 and 4. At Texas, I mean, on new tires, at least back in the day, you could go practically full throttle here those first couple laps. Back here to the battle in 37 minutes. Spectrum Fire Machine, driven by Craig Longslaughter up here inside the top 7 up. Actually down 2 spots where he started. Starting to settle in here, back here in 7th place. And run back down some of these guys, the 43, the 22. Did get around him early on this start. Everybody, for the most part, single file. They got where they need to go. Johnson back here in 10th, where he started. He's got a tailgate full of the 20 at the 48. 9 making a move here on his teammate for the P11 spot. Quesada trying to get around the 48 here. 48's gonna have a run off the top though, up to the outside wall. He has a run on 20 here. Up the track there. Trying to run down to 12 with Cody Meadows. But he has put a little bit of a gap to him, and 11 of Charles Roberson, maybe trying to save a little bit of tire. He doesn't have the fuel in the car that he needs right now. Starting to back up to the 20, the 48, and the 9 machine back there. Right outside the, right now he's currently right inside the top 10, but everybody outside the 20, just right outside that top 10. So everybody still kind of under a blanket here. Back up to the race lead, Dylan Basin. Flat 15. Trying to scoot away from the 38. Cartage. Glad to see Sarchog at least up here running up front. Last week, had a really strong qualifying effort. I believe got on the pole, sat at least on the front row. Last week, just kept getting caught up in nonsense. Ended up not even be able to finish that race there in the 38 machine. So, I believe he was in the 36 last week. Regardless, good to see him up running up front where he belongs. Approaching the halfway point here in stage 1. Only 1 caution so far. On wood, we keep it that way. On the win, clear attack. Thomas in a good spot right now, and up here in third. Honestly, I think can even afford to like give this up if he doesn't want to race too hard. He does have a slim gap. I think it's a 7-point gap back to P2. Points of the 9. It's Redkin in the back. Nick Johnson in the grass along with Cody Meadows. Meadows gonna come up the track. Hopefully no one gets into him. Joshua will wave. Wow, what? That is very lucky, Cody. I think he's got a little bit of right front damage. I think that might have been from the contact with the potentially 20 machine, but so lucky that no one got into him there. He was parked clearly right in the middle of the track there, and everybody was coming at him for at speed for what a good probably 5-10 seconds there. Let's take a look and see what happened here between the 20 and the 12 here. On the 20, seen this happen where he tries to be a little bit aggressive. I wouldn't say too aggressive. I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but seen this time and time again where he puts himself in a spot there where forces the drivers around him to be a little bit reactive to him. See the 11 getting to the outside wall there. Is obviously a little bit slower than these two cars behind him. The 20 tries to turn down, get it around the 11. Unfortunately, Cody Meadows is there, and the 20 initiates the contact. They both go spinning down the grass. I believe the 20, for the most part, keeps it going. Cody Meadows, though, cannot with it because he was the one who kind of got banged down the track here. See him up the track here. I mean, oh man, this is nightmare fuel for like all the drivers behind, like coming up on this. So somehow everybody keeps it off of him. Back under caution on lap 20. Dylan Basin in the lead here. You see him dropping this inside wall here. Funny in this game. Dylan just having a little bit of fun here under caution. Backs everybody back up. Have a couple cars who are a lap down. Looks like Wyatt Roberts, one of those drivers. And then Faria Ferris. He got caught up in that first caution with 17. Already laps down. Rodney Roberts also. I think those guys still in the pit road. Brian Treadwell also still looks as well. Bob Wyckoff. Gonna leave that. Bob currently back in 46. off once again. Be Basin, Man, Flynn, Austin, your top 4 now as we get ready to go back in here. Be what, 14 to go here in stage 1. Great jump by the 2. Thomas Flynn. Good jump out of him. He's going to make it side by side for P2 with Will Austin. Work. He gets clear to the 3. Put him up inside the P2 position. And Sartaj did not have a good start. But have a good jump on that restart. Falls all the way back. Eventually back to P4 if this 3 can clear. Using the momentum on the top here in 1 and 2. He will. Sartaj back to P4. Justin L. Johnson back to P5. Back up to P5. How about that? The track that I think really suits Justin a lot. One of those tracks that you kind of have to be on the fine line of control and grip and everything else, putting your car in the right spots. The track I feel like Justin really suits his driving style, at least. So, up 3 spots where he started here. The latter half of stage 1. And hold on there. You got 2 cars side by side behind him. 33 Rover, 77 Rock Slaughter. See what you see that his rearview mirror. Oh man, almost contact there. Rover could have maybe made the move down there to make the spot. Get on to the inside of the 22. Tries to think better of it. 77. Oh, Will Austin now pit road early. Will Austin, did he get a penalty? Will Austin did get a black flag. Trying to jump the start there, or something happened. He's actually gonna on pit road here. Take tires. He's gonna still have to serve this black. You can't take tires and serve the penalty here. I presume if you jump the start, it's usually a drive-through, right? So, you're going to have to come back down and serve the penalty again. I don't know if that was the move there. Unless he's going to get that cleared. Max will show him with the black flag. Dylan Basin. I thought we'd see this sooner or later out of this 2 machines, but Dylan Basin pulling out to about a 1.5 gap here. Obviously, went the green with what, 14 to go. That's enough, at least in my opinion, for Dylan to go hard here. Knowing that he's going to get a caution here on lap 35. Come down, take a set of tires. So for him, it's just time to set sail and go, right? And really, this is any opportunity for him, probably on a broadcast, to continue to show that he is worthy, of getting, picked to be on the co-team. He might already be, in the background already, been picked up by a team. Hasn't been officially announced yet, but, really, in my opinion, if I was Dylan, any opportunity I can show to put myself on a broadcast and show that I have pace, that I can go out there in races, I'm going to do it. So, doing a great job right now showing that he's got the pace to run up with anybody, be competitive, led every lap this race so far. Only 30 laps complete, still a long race to go, but to go here in stage 1. Really 4 to go. Get the caution at 35. Continues to pull away from the driver of Thomas Flynn. The backs are battling. Here comes the Justin Johnson on the inside of Sartaj. Wants to stop the They all have to chase down that 24, Thomas Flynn, who is your points leader. Dylan doesn't really matter, really, between Justin and Thomas here. Remember, doesn't run it full time, part time. A little bit of contact with the 38, using him up a little bit. Justin meant to do that. That's why I saw him back out. He just spot back. How about Joey Maines? Get an in with him. Justin puts the spot back here. There's down with 2 to go here in stage 1. Drew joining off the top. Crossover by the 22. Trying to get around the 48, he does. It's back on that 38 if you have enough time to do it. It takes the white flag here in stage 1. Green 4. You're just under a 2.5 second advantage, but Dylan Basin leads every lap here in stage 1, and he'll take stage 1 here from Texas. Thomas Flynn back there in P3, 6 points for him. Justin Johnson, P4. 6 stage points for him as well. Last guy to get stage points, 77 is Bartenschlager. F. Weimer up several spots here, top 5. Up 5 spots, the top 10. Position in stage 1 for him. Good doing by that 60. Stage 1 under. Stage 1 complete. We're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break here, but you won't miss a thing. We go HVT side by side.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Live back here. Texas Motor Speedway. Pit stops underway here in stage 1. Get on these guys to get these pit stops underway, and we'll talk to you. Left side's up on that number 2 machine, right? I mean, now left side's up. Could have been an extended stop for Dylan. Be a bathroom break or something for Dylan, but try again. Winner of stage 2. Talk to the booth. Hey, Dylan, quick. Hey, Dylan, Christian up here in HVTV booth. You got a copy? Well, first of all, congratulations on stage 1. Obviously, we know what you're here to do. You know, trophy hunting here for this number 2 machine, as you always do here, coming in the iSNF Cup Series. And, obviously not a good run for you in the stage 2. Obviously, going to have to make up some spots here. Start stage 2, but obviously walk us through that first stage and walk us through what you need out of this 2 car to get yourself back up to the front.
Trouble right now, so stay out of trouble right here in the second stage, come back to the field, and I think we'll be all right. I'm hoping that the lanes move around a little bit more. If we go green this whole stage, just make some rubber that gets laid down, make the track a bit more racy, so that's what I'm waiting for right now.
It looks like right now, kind of that bottom side is the most dominant side here, but, looking back at, iSNF, obviously, only running part-time, obviously, been focusing on your, Road to Pro and the Coke qualifying series. We congratulate you on, at least making yourself eligible, the top 30 in points. So, what's the outlook for iSNF here as you continue to, focus on that Coke career?
Yeah, we'll be here whenever we have time to do so. If I get home in time, I'll ask Rhea if we got someone that needs to be subbed, because I do like running it. It's extra track time to the next gen. Especially since I already know, I've already come to an agreement with the team for Coke, so I know I'm going to be in there. I'll make it through free agency. So any kind of track time I can get in the next gen is important to me. So that's why I like to show up here as much as possible.
That's really cool to hear that you're going to be in the club series. So we congratulate you on that. But get ready to go great.
Nope, thank you.
Appreciate coming up here in the booth to talk to us before we get ready to go green. But it'll be Thomas Flynn, Justin Johnson leading us back to green. Start stage 2 in the restart zone. The 24 back through the throttle, back across the right to green here for stage 2. Before we get clear, the 22 of Justin Johnson, single file for the most part in that top 5. You'll see the first in the side-by-side action. It's going to be that number 11. Oh, Roberson looking underneath the 77. The 77 going to get a run on the 60. So those two will go side-by-side through 3 and 4 across the stripe. Longslogger. That higher side. Jeff Weimer in that 60 RFK machine. See how fast Dylan can get through the field here. Dylan already up. E12 using that higher side, trying to get it around. I think the 5 of Jeff. Looks like that's the Eugene Thornton. That's got to be in the 34, right? Tries to take a move. Try to make the move on the 12 of the 40 Meadows. Oh, the 43 Roberg. Super upset there out of turn 2. Somebody able to navigate around this 43, tries to get back up to speed. Side further up. Roberson. Weimer. Side by side back here, right outside the top. Right inside the top 10. My apologies. We battled out. Dylan Basin. Oh, a huge hit in the outside wall. Steven Sear. Caution will wave. What happened in the 5? It's loose out of 2. Contact with the 54. Christopher Walker overcorrects up into the outside wall. Man, somehow everybody it off him outside of the 54. Literally, the 54 completely KO'd by the 19. Cook. We start here in iSNF Cup Series. Yeah, Steven just upset out of turn 2. Unfortunately, it's going to grab 2 Bill Gibbs Racing Toyotas there in that rack as well, but sorry. Second caution for incident here. Race. Thomas Flynn looks pretty racy. I don't know if anybody's going to have anything for Dylan if he can get back up to the field here. Obviously, he started back there 17th on the restart, all the way back up inside the top 10. He sits 8th. Not including the 2. How about that? The 24 looks pretty good. The 22 looks pretty good. Bartage looks pretty racy. Chris Otto's driven his way back up inside the top 5. Got 3 machines up inside the top 5. Obviously, the other Hendrick car got caught up in that wreck there. Steven Sear probably going to be out early. The huge hit to the outside wall. Yeah, probably day ender for Steven Sear there in that last Hendrick camp. Under caution time. Yeah, this is our 3rd caution for incident. Need to get that caution from stage 1, lap 35. We got to go all the way to lap 70 to end the stage 2. Give everybody hit back 2 by 2 as we see the 1 to go here. Once again, say hello from the virtual Texas Motor Speedway. Everybody watching at home, whether you're watching over on the High Velocity TV YouTube channel or over at twitch.tv/ChristianBoss13. We appreciate you coming out, watching some iSNF racing here on this Saturday afternoon. The conclusion of the iSNF Cup Series. I'll say probably an hour or 2 after the race gets done. We'll be doing HVTV after dark here. Some hosted racing on the channel. Trucks at Kansas and Next Gens at Martinsville. So interesting to see how that goes. Especially the Next Gen thing. I believe that's the first time outside of like Bristol Dirt we've gone to a short track here. After dark, so we can see how that racing comes to be there later today. First, we got to get through the iSNF Cup Series here. Currently, right now, we're gonna have to get through that 24. Thomas Flynn and the 22 of Justin Johnson. Gonna go back through the Echo Park Restart Zone back green here from Texas. It out. A big wreck in the back. Like the 71 trying to go middle 3 there. Fortunately, that hole closed up as soon as it opened up. Oh, the hole closed as soon as it opened. Up to 23 to 34 to 71. One of Wyatt Roberts also gets caught up in this. We Will Austin. I don't think he got any damage, but had to stop there to not get in the wreck. So good for the 3 to keep damage minimal as possible. Caution will wave once again here. Our 5th caution day here from Texas. So we saw stage one. We get that one caution early in the race and went green the rest of the way. For this, no, we got 2 cautions in stage one. My apologies. Got that early caution here, I believe, on lap 4, and then we got caution with about like 15 to go, I believe, in stage one. Got the caution there, our 3rd stage caution. 2 cautions, stage 2 early. Back 2x2 here from Texas. Ready to go green here. Start lap 50. Get a 20 lap shootout here for stage 2. Top 10 here on the left side of your screen. Flynn, Johnson, Mon, Chris Otto, Lon Slugger, Maines, Dylan Basin, Charles Roberson, Jeff Weimer, Cody Meadows, your top 10 here. Ready to go green. Pace car back in. Back into the Echo Park restart zone. Thomas Flynn back to the green. Way better jump out of the 24 compared to that last restart where 3-2. Dustin Johnson was able to get side by side for him from the race lead. And lucky enough, he was lucky enough to keep the race lead here. That early caution. Sartaj Mon, the pass for P2 from Craig Larnslaughter. He made the pass for P3, and now here comes Dylan Mason. He's up into the P4 spot early. Just like that, you see that Timmy Chin already up inside the top 4. Probably wasn't going to take long, but now he's got some fast drivers in front of him. It'll be a little bit harder for him to get around some of these guys. These guys aren't just going to pull over. And he wasn't able to take advantage of these guys on the restart. Like he did with the 9 and the 22. Seven racing him pretty hard here. Gonna look to the outside here through 1 and 2. Drives it in there through 1 and 2. Side by side, trying to use momentum off the top side. Tried to get clear, but still side by side for that P3 position. Driving down in 3-4, get clear to 77. Now trying to set his sights on the top 2. Sartaj Mon takes the lead away from the 24. Sartaj has looked really racy all race long. Going up at the top, tippy top of the racetrack there. Try to get a massive run here on the backstretch. Sartaj with a mistake. Here comes Thomas Flynn here through the backstretch. Side by side for the race lead. Dylan Basin really know where to go. Here comes to the top side. Gonna have a massive run down the backstretch. A crossover, bottom of 3 here for the race lead. Dylan Basin takes it for now through 3 and 4. To try to clear that 38. He'll take the race lead back here on lap 55. I'll say this, that is the cool thing about Texas, that you really can't do anywhere else. You know, I know a lot of people dog on Texas for, you know, a long time about how bad the racing's been, but here on the set, I've really enjoyed racing it. I mean, calling the races here. You can go up there and run the tippy top there in 1 and 2 and get such a run down the backstretch that you could, you know, do a 2-for-1. Like that. About Dylan with the perfection, taking back the race lead here. If he can start to set sides and pull away here for the rest of the pack. Sorry, Taj. Trying to pull a little bit away from the rest of the field here. There's about a half a second gap to him. Right, Taj has about a half a second gap back to P3. Thomas. Anderson climbed the way back upside the top. Back it in the top 10, but you're going to have to try to get around the 68. Finally, with this RFK machine. The run here for 3 and 4. At the bottom of the 60 machine. Meadows on the bottom. Climb around the top. Cody should clear here through 3 and 4. Ooh, super loose out of 4. Keep the spot though, put Cody Meadows back inside the top 10. Oh man, Joey Maines up there. I think he was wall riding. That was pretty cool to see. But further up here, Chris Otto. Look at the 77. A higher line gonna get her run off the corner. Try to dive it down there, block from the 77. He gets moved up the racetrack. I'm a late block for the 77. I don't mind Chris saying like, hey, you can't do that. Like, I had the run, you blocked it last second. Hit my bump. I'm gonna use the pump a little bit. Gotta make this pass with a little bit of the contact between the two. I think Chris too happy with the moves being made here. Now he gets a move made. And Charles Roberson in the 11. Essenerian has allowed the 11 to get side by side with the 9. The battle potentially up there for the P3 position. Preston Johnson, the top. Get clear here of that number 24 machine. Justin up here inside the top 3 now. What this 22 team wants to see right now, technically out of the full-time drivers and out of the chase drivers right now, he's leading the pack here. Just got around the 24. Obviously, and those 2 guys in front, technically the 2 car is a chase car, but obviously Mark is not behind the wheel of that machine this week. Obviously Dylan Basin, right? So out of the drivers are in the chase. Out of the field. Those two cars in front, you know, our substitute drivers are nonetheless. So those points don't really matter, right, in the grand scheme. You know, after you get past Dylan, after you get past the 30th of Sartaj, it's, you know, playoff drivers 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So starting to look up here on the top side. Wondering how Tyler is going to look for that 22. Starting to get away a little bit now, so maybe he found something a little bit different here. Sartaj getting ran back down out of 22. Justin has found something on this top side. Go here in the stage. Get around the 38 here. Get the white flag here in stage one. Sartaj just lets him have it. All right, caution. That's going to be stage. I don't see a like a wreck anywhere. I think maybe the admins were a little bit trigger happy on calling it there. Dylan Basic goes 2 for 2 here in stage. He'll sweep the stages here, Texas. Not surprised to see that at all. '21. By Roberts gonna probably be the lucky dog here. He still damaged that 21 machine after that caution on the restart that happened. Lucky dog here, back on the lead lap. Stage 2 complete. We're going to go ahead and take one more commercial break here, Texas, and be right back on the other side of this ad break.
Racing
No sound. Yep.
We apologize for the lack of microphone. My stream deck sometimes will tell me that it's on and it's not. So that I don't know. Back to the conversation I was having. We in the chat had talked about whether the top 5 picks are gonna win. We got to talk about top 5 picks. For top 5 picks, Dylan Basin, or exactly the 2 of Dylan Basin. So if any of those 5 drivers can get it done here from Texas right now, the 2 of Dylan Basin back there in P10. Jump on the restart for him, and he can get him flipped back up, probably inside the top 7 or 8. So. We appreciate her. Yeah, she jumped in the booth. She says hello from Alaska. Obviously, she can't make it next race. Obviously, they up here in the booth to help with pre-race, but obviously occupied. Getting adjusted to her new job and stuff up there in Alaska. She sent me some pictures, and at the very least, she can't race, but she does have a lot of sights and sounds that that's good. Alaska, a very, very beautiful state. So. Yeah, we're adjusting a new state, right? At the very least. Justin Johnson, alongside Thomas Flynn in the 24. Back through the restart zone, back green. Auto top of 3. And that top side. Try to get a run. He will be top of 3 there with the 24 and the 11 of Charles Roberson. Oh, Thomas, not clear. Caution will way further back though. I guess Godard maybe had an incident here. Now Mike just loose. And then the same thing we saw with the 38, that last restart. Just off of 2. Those spins on his own. I don't know if that's really a caution. I mean, I know that they do use iRacing cautions here for the mile and a half, I believe. So, but that might be the reason why that got thrown. I would say he even kept it relatively straight there. Got just a tiny bump by the 38 of Bartosh, but outside of that, pretty good job keeping that car under control after he lost it there. One. And we do appreciate you guys' patience with the audio mix-ups tonight. Definitely an off day here for the HVTV booth, but try to learn from our experiences and try to be better for the next couple broadcasts we have. So. Back under caution here, lap 79, 34. We just, you know, reached that halfway point here from Texas here to hopefully complete, you know, week 15. Dustin Johnson leading the way here, trying to get back in the fight here when it comes to the playoff picture. Not the playoff, this game. Here we go, back two by two here. We'll get the one to go once again here. Our 8th caution of the race. Seems like a lot of the time these cautions have started on the restarts. Have happened on the restarts. Probably a better way to put it. Just gotta hit through, you know, these first couple corners, and I think we're pretty soon sailing for the rest of the way. Nobody last pitted on lap 70. That makes me think that we might be able to make it on fuel here the rest of the way. I'm not sure what fuel looks like. Obviously, I know we're running 60% fuel, and I'm not sure what a full tank of fuel would look like outside of just 60%. So, I would say maybe 40, 45 laps. So, I feel like these guys might still have to. I'm not paired one more time if we do go green the rest of the way. Here we go once again. Time will be the 77 on that outside lane. It's still gonna be Dustin Johnson leading us back to green. Up out of that bomb side, that allows Chris Otto to get back into the P2 position. Otto, remember, needs to make a couple points up on that number 34 machine. I believe outscored him in stage points. Stage 1, I believe. Either in stage 1 or stage 2, outscored the 24. And now a couple spots in front of the 24. Going to close the battle here on the points lead. They'll lace it up inside the top 3 once again. Going to have to battle this 9 here side by side, 3 and 4. Back up to P2. Johnson has his hands full. Guys trying to get back up towards the front. Mason trying to run that outside, actually lost some time. Lost the spot back to the 9. Chris Otto. Puts it back to the outside. Tire machine. And Bill's going to go all the way to that top side there, but will clear back to the position. Up the track a little bit there. Got to reel him in here out of turn 2. Right there to the bumper. Going into 3 and 4. how hard will Dylan, push to get around this 22? Obviously, the teammate now that he's racing, it's not the 24, it's not the 77, right? Justin needs points more than the 2 does for sure, right? At least more than Dylan Basin does. How hard does Justin push to stay in front? And how hard does the 2 need to try to get the lead back? Dylan Basin will clear, but a crossover from the 22, no. Has to get back in line, no, back to the bottom. Bit of a fake out from Justin Johnson, trying to make Dylan do something he's not. Put it on out of 4. Now secure the race lead here on lap 88. So interesting to see that line he runs in 1 and 2 occasionally. Go up there and almost paint that outside wall. It's such a good run by just driving it off the corner. Get right back clear. Like, I mean, the 22 had borderline cleared Dylan there in the 1 and 2, but he got such a run off that he re-cleared back down the backstretch. Shows how much momentum based these 2 next trends are, right? Like Justin is taking a good probably 10 feet, 10, 20 feet shorter distance versus Dylan who's up there running the outside line here. The momentum is so high that 2 that he can clear 2 on exit if he wants to, right? Now he's got that momentum worked up. Doesn't even need to worry about, trying to stay side by side with Justin. He's starting to actually pull away the 22 just a little bit. Just under half a second gap back to Justin Johnson back there to 22. Battling further on back. The whole gaggle of cars are right outside the top 5. Trying to work for it. Johnson get up there in front of the 43 of Roberg. Get clear. Quesada, what a recovery by him. Remember, didn't have a good qualifying effort. Up 12 spots from where he started. All the way back there, P18. Meadows. Oh, caution! The 23 is step toe. More wrecking. Happened to Jason here in this 23. Up at the side of the 60. 60 wasn't really up on the wall like I think he initially expected to. Sartaj also gets caught up in this. Again, Sartaj. Victim of someone else's thing here. Like Sartaj maybe just kind of got spooked there, it looks like maybe. 60 with the damage, obviously the 23 right there, out the front field of this 38. You saw him stopped in the grass, but Joshua will leave once again here. 60 meters that time. Now everybody will come down pit road. This should basically sure that everybody should be able to make it on fuel here. The rest of the way, I'm gonna make an educated guess that everybody should be good to go here the rest of the way. If Dylan has a good pit stop here, he's had two bad pit stops though the last couple of times. I don't know if that's been done deliberate or if that has had the best stop here is the 22 and the 77 will beat him off pit road, I believe. Thomas Flynn stays out. So, you don't hear a whole lot. Dylan Basin. Well, I mean, technically he has lost. Every time he's come in with the lead, he's lost it. But I think the first two were done deliberate. Versus this, looks like he spun the tires, get out of the box there. Thomas Flynn stays out here. Got about 25 lap full tires compared to the rest of the field, so you'll see everybody once again. 2x2. Did a 24. Thomas Flynn back to the point. We'll see that 22. Dustin Johnson. Back here at P2. Martin Slaughter Base in your top four. We approach now 37, now 30, yeah, 37 to go here. Texas, it's gonna be 24, back into the Echo Park restart zone, back green. 37 to go from, wrecking in the back almost, I saw. 34, Gene, almost. That was the big one there, got really upset there on the restart. Able to keep it off everybody. Back up towards the front. Reforce. Good jump. Gets away here. At least in these for lap one. We'll see if these guys with the fresher tires can run them back down. Let's see how this 24 sets up this race because he looks like he has good takeoff speed. But once we get, to like that 15 to 20 lap run, you see this 24 fall off a lot. 77 on the bottom, the 2 on the top here. 3 wide for the race lead out of turn 4. Basin, Flynn, Lautenschlager. Close to call. It's going to give it to Thomas Flynn. It's going to give it to Dylan Basin. 77 and the 2 side by side for the race lead. The 2 will clear. Mason back to the point. Anybody have anything for this 2 car? See the 48. Joey Main's back there getting up into the outside wall. Falls back to 7th. They're battling further on back. 43 Roberg trying to get around the 48. Justin Johnson, that higher line, trying to get that momentum up, trying to get around the 24, 24 cuts his nose off. That forces Justin to back out of it. Justin back up to the top side here. Him and the 9 are really the only drivers I've seen go up there and use that top side to make up time like the 2 of Basin has. 22 makes up the spot. Cody Meadows in the back. On the 3. Trying to get around the 43 Rober. Trying to get around 20. Nick Johnson. I mean, barely clear the 43. Get clear to try to run down that 20 machine. I don't think he's going to have much patience with him here. I say that, he does have a lot of patience there. Cut off his nose, he lifted. And not the 5. Now here comes the 43, going to put him in a bad spot. Side by side right in front of him, the 20 trying to get around. Really Mains in that 48 outlet machine. The 11 getting around the 24. As Thomas Flynn continues to drop to the field with those older tires. Oh, the 20 gets into the 24. They both save it. But a huge loss of track position for both those drivers. Remains up inside the top 6 now. Charles Roberson in the top 5. Slugger has not really let this get away. Maybe it's because he's got a little bit of dirty air. Dylan Mason trying to navigate around the lap car. Jeff Weimer in that 60 machine. Hold up to 22 here. Allow Will Austin to get around. Wrong place, wrong time for the 22 with Justin right there. Got the lap car. The lap car was running that second line. That's where Justin was running, right? Just had to give the spot to the 3, basically. Will Austin up to the 3rd place spot. Greg Lautenslaughter trying to keep in touch with that 2 machine of Dylan Mason. In their car to beat all night long, all day long, whatever you want to call it, wherever you are in the country. Now right, the fast driver. The whole race. Got to start outside the top 15 twice now. Still drove his way up to the. I wonder if Dylan's sandbagging a little bit. Maybe try to save some stuff. You're saving fuel. That makes sense. That just shows what kind of talent Dylan has. He's still leading the race, saving fuel. Everybody else sounds like behind, pushing. Well, Austin looks like at the very least trying to keep him in fifth as much as he can. I'm gonna look through the field to see if anybody else is trying to save fuel. These guys all pitted on the same lap. If Dylan doesn't think he's in a place to where he can make it, to where he has to save, I think that no one is in a good place to save, to make it on fuel, right? So. Justin running in fifth the whole way around. That makes me think that fuel might be something we have to talk about. The thing is, Dylan Basin, he's saving fuel. At least he was saving fuel. Starting to pull away a little bit now. I don't hear any clutch, and I don't hear him turning off the engine anymore. I think maybe he might have hit that fuel number really loose out of the tube machine there. Really good catch out of Dylan there to keep that thing going straight. Maybe he hit that fuel number to where he needed to go, to where he felt comfortable pushing once again. Starting to get away once again here. The rest of the second and third here. And an inch away, but only early. Where's this top 10 spot? Chris Bishop trying to hold on to it. David Anderson wants it. Could be David's first top 10 for the season, I believe. Oh, I believe he had a good run a couple weeks ago. Still a really solid run by this 97. Battle 2. Three wide here for P2. That's our Tajman in the middle. He's a lap car. Lawson wants it. This is any chance here. It is Wills. I feel like Wills is one of the best at just like slowly snaking forward throughout the run here. Some people that will like get to a spot and kind of stall out, right? Lost it in those, right? Now trying to look at that spot over to 77 of Craig. Johnson's trying to fall back a little bit. He's got a little bit of a pressure from the 11 to Charles Roberson. Cody Meadows up inside the top 6. Looking to go, can he capitalize on these two and battle it out? Now for Pete Stewart up ahead there. That's the 3 to 77. Cody Meadows trying to size up this 11 machine. You have a run here in the 1 and 2 if you take it. I was trying to muscle that thing around the top. Get clear for now. But he needs to set up this thing for the exit. Don't worry about entry, trying to get to him. Set it up for the exit. Try to get side by side through the back stretch, a good front stretch. That's how you're going to make this pass work. Good run here through 1 and 2. That's hiding up there. We'll go back up to the battle for P2. Will Austin finally gets around to 77. Got about a second and a half back to Dylan Basin with 10 to go. Does he have anything for the 2? Johnson trying to hold on to his P4 spot. Charles Roberson trying to hold on to his P5 spot. You have the, the team car there. Gonna hold up the 11 there. The Cody's gonna get to the top. But he's gonna have to run this top side. I don't know how well he knows how to do this. I need to get the run off the corner here. Side by side for P5. Down, get the momentum off the corner here. Side by side for P5 still. That's on the bottom, the 12 on the top. Meadows trying to take the spot here. Charles trying to hold on. Cody not quite clear. Contact between the two. Cody's gonna barely get clear. He'll take the spot here with 8 to go. Now 7 to go. Will Austin closing in a little bit. I just don't think it's gonna be enough. To go. We've got about gonna have to make up about 2-3 tenths a lap. Almost looks like he struggled with the race car a little bit though. half a tenth quicker that lap for the 3. He's gonna need something big. You have to pull something out of nowhere. Wants a chance to get back to Dylan Mason here. I mean, and beating Dylan on straight up pace, that's something. That's an achievement in its own right? So we'll have anything left in the tank. And he's matching lap time with Dylan. That's not gonna do it though. He's got to be a little bit quicker. He's gonna have to be now half a second quicker a lap. Charles Roberson got around 12 once again. But he must have had a mistake. He'll settle into P6. Thomas Flynn, that strategy did not work out for him at all. 19th, a lap down. Dylan Mason fighting out of turn 2. You can tell this car is not handling how it wants to, but just needs to get it on. 4 more corners. He'll take the white flag here from Texas. 1 to go for Dylan Mason. By far the dominant car all race long. Led both stages. Led by far the most laps probably this race. You know when Dylan Mason track here, when he unloads off the trailer here in iSNF, it's gonna be a force to be reckoned with. 6 starts, 10 starts, 6 wins, over a 50% win percentage, and he's gonna continue to rack that up. Go ahead and give it to him. Dylan Mason takes him from Texas. Dylan Mason wins the Lonestar 200. Texas Motor Speedway. And, hey, Leah, your picks won. There you go. One of your 5 picks won, so Dylan Mason, congratulations. Another win here. iSNF Cup Series. 7 for 11 now. This driver started to burn it down here on the front stretch. Justin Linsky teammate giving him a little congratulatory bump. Oh man, Joey Maines. A little bit more than the bump there, but Dylan Mason gets it done once again here. I'll be 11 starts, 7 wins on the season. Justin celebrating with his teammate here, the 2. Your top 3 will be Dylan Mason, Will Austin, Greg Lonswater. Those will be the 3 we talk to. We are going to take a quick commercial break. We have to pay the bills here at High Velocity. We'll be right back after this quick commercial break to start your post-race show here from Texas Motor Speedway.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. iRace or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Well, as we welcome you back here to the post-race show for the iSNF Cup Series here from Texas Motor Speedway, Dillon Basin sweeps stages and gets the win here from Texas here though in week 15. Is let's go ahead and talk the driver of the number 2 machine. Let's go ahead and pull up Dillon Basin up here in the HVTV booth. We can talk to. Hey Dylan, there's Christian up here in the HVTV booth once again. You got a copy?
Sir.
First of all, congratulations. Another win for you in the iSNF Cup Series. 11 starts, 7 wins. I mean, that's impressive in its own right. But, looking back at the race, well, looking back here at the celebration, we've seen a Polish victory lap before. But getting pushed around backwards by your teammate, do you guys have a name for that? Or is that just something fun between you and Justin and you guys celebrate this one?
Well, that was called I was out of fuel, so that's why I couldn't really do a burnout because I was sputtering coming back around. I did one with a slide and that was it. So he helped me do a Penske victory lap. How about that?
Yeah, definitely interested to see this. I was looking through the running order and I was like, man, he's going backwards the whole lap. But yeah, I mean, that would make sense. We saw you saving fuel there at the start of that first run, and we're wondering if fuel was an issue. But I'm glad you could answer that for us. But walk us through your race. Obviously, qualified on the pole, fell back there like halfway through stage 1, drove through the field, won the stage, did the same thing in stage 2, and borderline dominance from Texas. What was the difference that you apart from the rest of the field?
Honestly, I don't really know. Like, I feel like everybody was really struggling hitting the bottom of 1 and 2, and I was gaining so much time there, and other people weren't really comfortable moving around. Like, I was moving all over the track, finding speed, especially in that middle lane of 3 and 4. So just felt like we were a bit more comfortable with our car and how the track was developing compared to everybody else.
Yeah, it definitely looked like a lot of drivers were slipping and sliding around. Obviously, we looked at the track time, but at least at the start of the race, it was almost 100, got up to 105 throughout the race at some points. Walk us through. Obviously, when we come to Texas and stuff, I feel like it is it's very weather sensitive, right? When we come here at night, right, you can kind of run wherever you want and the car and feel like it's going to grip up here. But when it gets hotter, it feels like it wants to slip and slide a lot more, and it really affects some of these guys who burn up their tires a lot quicker.
Yeah, I think in the colder weather, you either have a lot of grip all over the track, or it's just going to be like a bottom lane fest. But I feel like in the hotter weather, when you move around and there's less on throttle time on the bottom, it makes that top lane more viable. So if you can run it right, like, it gets massive runs, and you can see that at some points in the race, right? Put it up on the wall and and 1 and 2, which by the way is ridiculous that it even works. But I put it up by the wall and then just get a massive run, and no one else really seemed to be able to reciprocate that. And I don't think the wall would have been that good. Really, even the middle and 3 and 4 would be that good if it was colder weather or nighttime.
We definitely noticed on the broadcast, definitely called it out because we were like, man, no one's really doing that. And not only that, you were keeping the lead. You were defending, your teammate there and Justin, and trying to make them there. You were doing a really good job defending up there, ripping the fence up there. And it was definitely surprising to me to see that, people could go up there and merge up. We saw some people go up there after they saw you do it, just could not replicate as well as you could. But regardless, still a dominating performance for you and this whole two team. Obviously, you talked to after stage one, coming back and doing it again, but a good preparation for you as you get ready for your Coke season. Um, with whatever team that is, I assume you're not allowed to disclose that up here, but walking us through, with iSNF, right? You come here and off races, and what do you do to kind of help prepare you for your future, kind of professional career? Do you just kind of come here to kind of test things out, kind of
Right, it's a little bit of both. Texas is a playoff track in the Coke Series schedule, so I'm literally trying everything to get track time in it. That's why you see me running all these different lanes and going to the back multiple times. I'm trying to feel the cars and dirty air versus clean air and whatnot. Granted, some things will change going from fixed to open setup. But it's just a big experiment. That's why like sometimes I'm like really slow on some laps, and other times I find something and I pick it up. So just trying to figure out the lingo of this car. I'm more of a rally car guy myself. That's always been my driving style, but I feel like just getting countless laps and laps in, and this car has been helping me a lot to improve in it.
I definitely agree. I mean, definitely showing out every time you come here, and it definitely shows, that you learn the car a lot more and quicker and quicker. Obviously, like I said, 11 starts for you in your career. At least that's what it shows on the stat line, and it'll be 7 wins for 11 starts. So that's, I mean, pretty impressive in its own right. So, but once again, Dylan, just another congratulations on another win here from Texas, and congratulations getting into the Coke Series. But we'll let you go. Anybody you want to thank, shout out, or appreciate for tonight's win here in Texas?
Yeah, well, I like to thank Rhea for putting me in the 2 car. Getting the chance to race. It was a pretty fun time getting to mess around and try different stuff out. And thanks in general for you doing the broadcast and the league putting these races up.
I definitely appreciate the kind words up here in the booth, and appreciate your time up here in HP. Got to talk to you there after stage one, but once again, Dylan, congratulations, another win here, Texas. We look to talk to you some here in HP. But once again, great job tonight, Texas.
Yep, thank you.
Dylan Basic comes home victorious from Texas. I don't see Craig Launchlotter, so we'll talk to you, driver Will Austin here in HP. With this, he comes home P2, Fort Worth. Will Austin is Christian up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Yep. Copy.
Well, a P2 finish for you in this 3 team. Obviously, trying to work your way back up through the pit standings, but unfortunately, Dylan Mason showed up, but I just don't think anybody had anything for that 2 machine tonight. But walk us through your race. Walk us through what got you up here to this P2 finish.
Yeah, I mean, I started out in practice, and I felt like I had a fast car. Got up to, I think it was like 6th qualifying. Got dealt a pretty bad hand when Sataj got into the wall, and I went on the inside, got me a black flag. Ended up 3 laps down. Gambled a couple times trying to just get my waiver ends, and I mean, I knew I had a fast car all day. I knew I wasn't gonna catch Dylan at the end though.
Yeah, definitely Dylan was last of the field, race driving his way up through the field. But walk us through. Obviously, you did get that penalty from Sartaj, spinning the tires there. Coming in 3 laps down, a lot of drivers are gonna might just park the car. But what's the mindset when you have a fast car, just keeping that head down and being 3 laps down? I mean, you go a lap down, maybe 2 laps down, you might be a little bit. Obviously, we have those state cautions that probably helped you out a little bit trying to get the laps back. But walk us through, the mentality after, getting a penalty from something not of you doing and having to just try to keep your head down. Right.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. Trust me, I wanted to give up, but I knew where I stood in the standings. I needed a good points day. Knew I had a fast car. Um, like I said, gambled a couple times, hoping there was going to be a caution after I got my waiver in, which there was twice. Um, but yeah, just had to stick with it.
You have to do a race for a championship. You can't really give up this part of the season, especially in the chase here. But looking forward into these next couple weeks here. Um, Watkins Glen next week, Atlanta. The next couple weeks. I mean Dover for the Atlantic 200. Is there any tracks you have circled for the rest of the calendar, but potentially put yourself back up there one spot closer to getting yourself into the maybe another track you have circled on that you can victory lane?
Definitely looking forward to Dover. One of my favorite tracks on the service. So hopefully we can put together some good laps and come up here to the booth again.
Back up here. Guys, take your time up to talk to us in the race, outside of the race, whatever it is. But still a really good run for you in this whole 3-team, Will. And continuing, I mean, this P2 finish will definitely probably jump you a couple of spots over some people. Like the 24, I mean, probably the 24 is going to lose the lead after that pit strategy call there. Tires have to pit under, but it's still a good run for you. Got to rally back to championship pattern the race. But before I let you go, Will, anybody you want to shout out or appreciate good run tonight, Texas?
Yeah, just the whole RCR team helping me practice, and you guys up here in the booth. Keep doing good job. Thank you.
We appreciate your time up here in the booth. We appreciate the kind words, but we'll let you go to get ready for next week. Then hopefully we can talk to you. Well, I think next week isn't broadcasted, so hopefully maybe we can talk to you maybe a lot better up.
Yeah, hopefully.
Good rest of the night.
You too.
Well, Austin comes home, Pete. I do not see Craig Lochner up here. There's been a couple times where he had to get out of town really early to go to whatever he needs. So that's probably the same case, but we'll go ahead and highlight Craig here. P3 driver. Showed a lot of pace throughout the whole race. I felt like he was a top 4 car. So he got I feel like the finishing position he deserved here. So good run for Craig there in the 77. Obviously, not really in championship picture anymore after just in a race or two in the chase. But we know anytime he unloads in the 77 car, he's going to be quick. He's going to be competitive. And he was tonight, right? Obviously, I don't think anybody had anything Dylan Basin, but still a really good run for this whole 77. That's to Craig on Podium Finish. But what a race, everybody. Like we said time and time again, I think Dylan, every time he comes here, iSNF Cup Series, obviously he's a Coke driver, right? He's a Coke driver coming in here racing, right? That's all we should really have to say. Crap. Not only for iSNF, for iRacing in general, right? Top 10 Coke qualifying point. And the sounds of it, already got signed to a Coke team. Will be racing iRacing for championship series, I think is what it's called. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, but once again, another outstanding race by Basin and that whole 2 team. Congratulations on that. But before we let everybody else go ahead and take a look at your unofficial race from Texas, and we'll call it a race. We'll call it a Saturday here from Fort Worth. Got your top 18 finishers here. Dylan Basin, Will Austin, we talked to up here in the booth. Craig Lochner will round out your top 3. Justin Johnson, Charles Roberson, your top 5. Cody Meadows, Joey May, Chris Bishop, Martin Roberg, and Scott Trusty in the 51, the top 10 finisher. We didn't really talk about Scott all race, but see, a good top 10 finish. David Anderson, a really good finish. John Hopley, Gene Thorne, Kevin Page, Timothy Cook in his first start, top 15. Terrence Preston, Chris Otto, round out the rest of the figure back in 17. Nobody else line here. One or laps down, you see Roberts, he top 18. Thomas Flynn 19th after the wrong pitch strategy there. That's gonna hurt him in the I should probably give. Actually, might still keep the points lead just because Chris Otto only places ahead of him. Probably the same hit strategy for the 9 and the 12. So that's definitely going to close gap to like Justin Johnson and those who had pretty solid runs tonight. So you'll see Mike Iskandar round out the top 22 laps down. Everybody else laps down. Jeff Weimer, Sartaj Milan, Jason Steptoe, Bob Wyckoff, Nicholas Johnson, Shane Johnson, Walker, Chuck Cobb. Here, running out top 30 will be Brian Treadwell. And rounding out the rest of the field, Dodd Blazer, Rodney Roberts, all out early, right, from Texas. But what a race, what a call. It was definitely cool to see, some people come through the field, some people drop through the field. We saw, like, for instance, 24, I felt like this was kind of his weakness tonight, was Texas. And in the long runs, he would keep the track position. And if we went 15, 20 laps, you'd see him start to fall back. Dylan Baseman was all, like always, a blast to see him drive through the field after having two lackluster pit stops there at the exit of two. So it's going to be interesting to see how drivers navigate Dover Motor Speedway. Obviously, we will not be broadcasting Watkins Glen. I was actually asked if I wanted to come and run the Watkins Glen race. I obviously, I don't know. I used to run here full time in the iSNF Cup Series for, I believe, 5 or 6 seasons. So she asked me if I wanted to go and do the Watkins Glen. I might take her up on that and get a start here, season 11. Keep my start streak for another season. So we'll see. But we will be back on, not this next week, most likely, but the week after for some more chase racing here we go up to Delaware, the Dover Motor Speedway. Those drivers can do there. But for everybody up here in the HVTV booth, myself, Christian Delgado, your lead producer, commentator, we appreciate everybody for coming out, watching tonight's race for Texas Motor Speedway. Later on tonight, we'll be doing HVTV After Dark trucks at Kansas and Actions at Martinsville. So be on the lookout for that. We appreciate everybody for coming out and watching tonight's broadcast. And guys on the other side of everything else, appreciate everybody for coming out. Whether you were watching over at High Velocity TV or over at twitch.tv/ChristianBoss13, we appreciate all the love and support. We appreciate everybody for coming in and stopping by in the chat as well. Dave Opstead, we see Cody Meadows for Eds Demos. Yeah. We appreciate it. And Michael Good for coming in the chat as well. We appreciate everybody for stopping by. Just saying hi, if anything. So I think it's time to call it a day here from Texas Motor from Fort Worth. We'll night here. And you've been watching a High Velocity TV production here, iSNF Cup Series. See you guys in a couple hours for some HVTV After Dark, and we'll hope to see you soon.